Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and at the end of this video I'm going to show you something that just popped into my brain after I saw the I just pieced a couple of things together in my mind, and now I see something that looks like it could be what's coming, and this is as a result of a Ripple, what was called Spring investment. I think now they call it Ripple X. But I think that I might be on the right track here. Not sure, not 100% sure, but you'll find it interesting anyway. Let's start here. I had tweeted this out the other day. Say it ain't so. Nodes in space. Blockchain transaction tested in space. Now this, there's a dog just going crazy out there. Somebody's got a German Shepherd, and it's always the little dogs that are so mad. So a little dog that thinks he's going to take on a German Shepherd. I wouldn't bet on that one. Okay, so anyway, this was talked about a week or two ago where JP Morgan was testing things in space, but this is something that I love, because I was talking about this maybe a year ago, and everybody was, oh, that's crazy talk. Yeah, nodes in space, blockchain, yeah, right. So it's funny to watch it now. And just as a pure coincidence, is it? I keep forgetting. Today's the 4th, right? Yeah, today's the 4th. This never gets old to watch. This is the SpaceX deployment of Starlink satellites. If you've never seen this, be mesmerized.
Here comes the Starlink satellites releasing from the second stage. Very, very cool. Shortly, they will deploy their solar arrays, and over the next few days and weeks, they will distance themselves from each other and use their onboard ion thrusters to make their way to their operational orbit at 550 kilometers above the Earth's surface.
Now, I'll be very upfront about what I believe. I believe Starlink is, well, they tell us they're going to provide, 5G. But I believe that Elon Musk has been working with the government from the day he started SpaceX and all of that. I don't even think that's a secret. I think that he's funded by the government. I think that there's all kinds of secret government projects that are on those satellites, including nodes in outer space, to create an intergalactic currency. I believe there's probably nodes on multiple of those satellites, even if they're just in a testing phase. It was the plan all along. We already know that XRP nodes are in underground nuclear bunkers. I wonder why that is. Okay, moving along. I thought this was great. This Greg Manarino. Oh, don't worry. It was only 745,000 unemployment's what he's talking about. Could have been worse. This is how they spin it. Incredible. In other words, that these Reuters is U.S. weekly job claims increased less than expected. But it's some crazy number. I mean, come on. This is a complete disaster of an economy, and everybody knows it if they're paying attention. But you wouldn't know it from watching CNBC, I can tell you that. Then Michael at VAL5 Link says this: banks in Germany are reportedly turning customer deposits away due to the negative interest rate imposed on them by the European Central Bank. Some banks are even offering online tools to help customers take their deposits elsewhere. Now, this hits home with me because I was talking with my wife about opening my 15-year-old a bank account. And I was talking to her and I said, you know what? I said, normally I'd say, yeah, let's go open him a bank account. But I'm thinking this through, and maybe we should open him a Coinbase or an Uphold or a Binance.us bank account, because I think that he has a better chance at saving his money and it becoming something on those platforms than I do in a bank account. And I think more and more people in the United States are going to move in that direction. Okay, CSMA 144K sent me this. this has to do with the public versus private ledger and what Ripple announced yesterday. This is back in January 2019. This guy says to David Schwartz, some seem to think there's the ledger and the hidden ledger, one retail, one institutional, that will eventually be merged together. This, to my understanding, seems ridiculous, as the protocol rules state one state is valid and it's immutable. David Schwartz says it's hard to imagine that such a merger would look, what it would look like. It would have to follow the rules of the public ledger. It's kind of funny. I was actually thinking just today about how cool it would be if you could run the XRPL software in a private ledger mode and later bridge to the public ledger. For example, you could have an asset issued on both ledgers that's bridged by the validators of the private ledger who multi-sign transactions for the public ledger. It's actually a cool use case to cut transaction fees and scale. You can't really merge the ledgers, but you can allow people on one side to move an asset to the other side. It's much like the way Bitstamp has the private ledger with USD on it, their exchange, but also Gateway's USD on the XRP ledger. Can you see where all this is going, folks? Okay, here's an interesting clip put up by Stephen Bull Dieppe. The guy's Toby Lewis, CEO of Novum Insights, a market research company.
We've got this trading strategy of adding in the stable coins and keeping that 50% stable coin allocation, going towards like the crypto blue chips like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Ripple, whatever, right? Like you could build a portfolio of whichever ones take your fancy. So I'm sure Breno could talk a bit about like where Ripple is in their development and that kind of thing. Obviously, the one word of warning with that asset is there is this SEC hearing kind of thing, but I think it's likely that will be settled. So, that's definitely a crypto blue chip.
XRP, that's a title right there. Let me write that down. XRP, crypto blue chip. XRP, crypto blue chip. All right, I like it. Like blue chip stocks. Okay, now let me show you this now. This is an interesting clip. This is Larry Kudlow. I don't know if this is old, but I've never seen it. Maybe swap Bitcoin for XRP makes more sense too. Listen to what Larry Kudlow says.
In the next month. And so that's why it's not investable for us. But I certainly agree with you. It's here to stay.
Well, you know, years ago when this first came up, some of the pioneers, like my pal Brian Kelly and others, I said, why don't you guys back it by gold or a commodity basket? It would have terrific currency value. You know, right now it's principally an investment play. It's an investment store. And, you know, you take your chances. You go up 20%, you go down. It doesn't have what Art Laffer calls the moneyness of money. It's not really a reliable medium of exchange because of its volatility. But if you backed it by something, unlike some other fiat paper currencies I could think of, then maybe it would be very reliable. Think about that.
Okay, think about that. I just thought that was interesting. Now, I love these little clips. They're always fun to watch. This guy had posted this. This is a guy that was teaching us how to buy Bitcoin at 30 cents. Watch this.
In this video, I'll show you how to buy Bitcoins using PayPal, using the CoinPal service. First, go to coinpal.indrix.com, and you'll be presented with this order form. In order to make a purchase, you have to have a verified PayPal account. So I'll enter my verified PayPal email address in the form. And then I'll confirm my email address by entering it again. I want to buy 10 Bitcoins, and I'll enter my Bitcoin receiving address there. I click continue. Presents me with the details of my order.
So it's going to cost, what does that say, $3 and something cents for, I think that says $3. I can't really tell. I think it says $3 and something cents to buy. How many Bitcoins was he buying? Let me go back. Pretty cool.
Verified PayPal account. So using PayPal, using the CoinPal service. First, go to CoinPal. In this video, I'll show you how to buy Bitcoins using PayPal, using the CoinPal service. First, go to CoinPal.
Anyway, He's buying, and it was like at 30 cents. That is just awesome. Okay, this is interesting right here. Just in, BitGo has received a New York trust charter and plans to offer banks crypto custody as a service. BitGo, digital asset service firm BitGo, is coming to New York after it receives approval from the New York Department of Financial Services for a New York trust charter. The trust company plans to custody crypto funds in the state and offer crypto custody as a service to large New York-based financial institutions. Now, first I want to give you my thoughts on this. I've always felt like there was a specific reason that we were never, as individuals, able to have a custody solution. They have had custody solved, folks, but they've only allowed institutional people to have access to crypto custody. In other words, the same custody that allows you to go to E-Trade and buy a stock and not worry about whether that stock certificate is yours or where it is and all of that. You don't worry about those things. Well, they've provided that ability with crypto to institutions and the wealthy, but they haven't offered it to us retail. I have always felt like part of this plan was to let the big boys come in. They were working on custody behind the scenes for individuals all this time, to let the big boys have that part of this industry and not let these startups out of Silicon Valley control that wealth. And it also, a part of me, it also makes a part of me think that they could call some of these ledgers like XRP that are where tokens are built off of them, like Flare and these kind of things. It makes me wonder if part of their plan all along has been to let the big boys, the Goldman Sachs, they're the ones behind all of these things, BitGo and all these major custody platforms. I've told you, BNY Mellon, PolySun, BNY Mellon's all behind that, it looks like. So it makes me wonder if the plan all along has been to let these mega big boys, the Goldman Sachs, the BNY Mellon, the Citigroup, the JP Morgan, to let them raise their hand and say, okay, now custody is a legitimate thing. You now don't have to worry about keys and all that garbage because we are here to save the day. And to let them be the crypto custodians. And maybe in conjunction with that, let the Coinbases and the Upholds and the Binances, let them list, quote, utility tokens or other tokens, but any of them that are declared securities, maybe XRP, to let the big boys get to have those. The big ones. The ones, I mean, ultimately, wouldn't those be the big ones? The ones that can actually, where you can actually build CBDCs off of them. This is just me thinking out loud. I'm just talking out loud here. I could be totally wrong on that, but I do know this: BitGo is backed by Goldman Sachs. It's one of the first investors in BitGo. They're backed by Pantera, Galaxy Digital. That's Mike Novogratz. Digital Currency Group. That's Barry Silbert. You know, I've tried to. I'll just mention one little interesting thing. I've tried in the past to look up. In my life, I'll tell you this. You know, Barry Silbert's he's a young guy to be the head of this behemoth. One thing that's always interested me in digital assets is that there are so many people that you can't find any real history on. You can't find much about who their family is and all that kind of stuff. Barry Silbert's one of those. I've seen a lot of young people that run companies, and just about all of the time, when you see a young person that seems to come out of nowhere and run massive operations, they've got a last name and they come from somebody. It's usually not just some young guy that just happens to pop up. I've never been able to really find out who Barry Silbert's parents were. If anybody knows, I'd like to know. I'm curious. Next. So BitGo's backed by that. Then you go, let's look at PolySun. I just decided to look. I've looked before, but I don't know if there's any that have been added on or not. But these are venture capital firms that are invested in PolySun. One of them, CRCM Ventures, which is China Rock. They're invested in Ripple as well. This one, caught my eye. 2020 Ventures, I decided to pull that one up. Here's 2020 Ventures, and if you go down to the bottom of the page, you'll see some of their co-investors. Hard Yaka is Greg Kidd. Andreessen Horowitz is Mark Andreessen, who has invested in both Ripple and Coinbase. You see how everything's tied together here? And this, once again, this is the video I did the other day. It just doesn't make any sense to me that Andreessen Horowitz, who's a major investor in Coinbase and Ripple, and Mark Andreessen's on the board at Coinbase, and we're supposed to believe that Coinbase knew nothing when they're in conversations with the SEC leading to their $100 billion IPO, and they knew nothing about this SEC lawsuit. Not in this lifetime, folks. You won't convince me they didn't know anything. All right, now here's my little theory that I'll call this my NFT theory. Okay. The NFT discussion for me really started with this. Vitse Vin, he puts this out. XRP Ledger standard proposal calling on all XRPL devs for thoughts. All right, and so he puts this out, and he's basically, it's a proposal to have non-fungible tokens on the XRP Ledger. Well, when I was covering all these NFTs, I was amazed by this. That this is the NBA's marketplace where they're selling NFTs, and it's like short clips of NBA players, and these things are going for crazy amounts of money. This is a huge market that's starting right now. And I got to thinking about this, and for some reason, Raised in Space popped in my head. And if you don't remember, a lot of these companies that Ripple, before it was through Spring, now it's called Ripple X, I guess. Raised in Space was one of the investments. It says Raised in Space Enterprise is a partnership between Ripple's Spring, founder of Ithaca Holdings, music manager Scooter Braun. This is the guy who's some huge guy in the music industry. I think he manages, or his firm manages, like, what's the young kid? I'm drawing a blank. What's that kid that everybody... Justin Bieber, okay? So he's a huge guy. And Kanye West, which I got made fun of for calling Kane West one time on this channel. But this guy is connected to all of these people, okay? So I was thinking of this, and I was like, we haven't heard much out of Raised in Space, and I always wondered, how is Raised in Space going to have anything to do with XRP? It says down here, it says their mission, in addition to its business of investing in the most forward-thinking entrepreneurs, Raised in Space organizational mission is to create a community of experienced music and tech leaders focused on raising the value of music, with the traditional music industry in need of innovation across the entire value chain. Creation, registration, distribution, fan engagement, touring, ticketing, monetization. Raised in Space will focus on uniting industry minds to focus on elevating conversation around the industry's greatest challenges. Now let me give you my theory, folks. For those of you that were around when the internet started, you will remember Napster, and how I remember when, what was the band? Metallica got all mad, and what happened, when Napster came about, it was this file sharing thing, and all of a sudden people were able to download music for free. And it literally changed the entire music industry. And I remember Metallica, I don't know if they sued, but I remember I think it was the drummer, Lars, the drummer? He was the guy that headed it up, and he was all pissed that their songs are being stolen. Well, this is why I think that this partnership happened. The people in the music industry, they don't want to see that happen twice. They've got to figure out how this new technology called blockchain, instead of hurting the music industry, could help it. And here's how I think, this is what I think the plan is. And again, this is purely my NFT XRP theory. Let's call it that. I need to write that down. NFT XRP theory, okay? I believe Raised in Space is going to do the same thing for the music industry that the music industry with NFTs that the NBA is doing right now for NBA with NFTs. And I think they're going to do it on the XRP ledger, because I think that's what that proposal was all about. This is purely me thinking out loud. So I went to Raised in Space's Twitter feed, and they had 321 blast off, and they're retweeting a Rolling Stone article. Why are so many artists suddenly talking about Bitcoin, interledgers, and NFTs? Here's a field guide to the booming conversation around cryptocurrency and music. Here's a clip from the article. And remember, let's go back. The people that at Raised in Space, Scooter Braun, Zach Katz, and Shara Senderoff, these are the people running it. Here's the article. Allowing fans to invest in artists directly. So, what's first then? Katz and Senderoff argue that the easiest on-ramp for crypto to be understood and blockchain to be utilized for mass adoption is through digital collectibles and NFTs, which really just hold assets and information despite being depicted as a token. NFTs are special because they cannot be copied and are easily tradable, explains Vasa, whoever that is, CEO of startup called that. All right, then go down here. Senderoff adds that the auditability is worth praising as well. If a fan buys art via an NFT, they know it's authentic because they can see where it came from and how many owners it's had so far. NFTs are about getting to own or access things that I, the fan, otherwise wouldn't, explains Katz. I'm getting to be a part of something that has a sense of scarcity around it, a sense of exclusivity, whether it's a piece that I own and can wear as a social badge of honor to demonstrate my fandom, or it's an access pass or passport into a set of exclusive experiences. And then it goes on and on and on. But this is what's about to happen. Write it down. We're going to call it my NFT XRP theory. Boom, there you have it. And speaking of, they're still having, these are NFTs too, Unstoppable Domains. The link to it's in the top of the description of this video. Win.crypto just sold for $100,000. Now, they're not all that expensive. Baseball and gambling.crypto are both available for $100,000, but the prices are as low as $500 for these premium domains. This week, they're still running this sports theme. Next week, it's going to be a different theme. So, and you can also go in there and do searches for your own .crypto domains for $40 a pop. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that I have an NFT XRP theory. Thank you for listening.